Imagine sitting on 1,200 acres with 3,300 brand new homes and a 30-acre community park, all sitting right here in Parker's newest development, Tanterra.
And if that's not enough, these homes are built by 2026's Builder of the Year as well.
So if you stick around, guys, we're gonna be touring these model homes from this 2026 Builder of the Year Will just mentioned.
Correct.
In addition to that, we're gonna be going over commute times, schools, price points that you're gonna find out here, all the great amenities, and really what is making this the biggest and hottest new build that's been in Parker in the past 10 years.
Correct, and we'll give you one clue. This brand is super familiar, but it might not be who you think behind the curtain. Stay tuned.
All right, so Parker is one of the most underrated suburbs in the entire Denver metro area, and Tanterra is being built right in the heart of it. Tanterra sits near the intersection of Chambers Road and Hess Road in Parker, in Douglas County, which is one of the highest income and most consistently top-ranked counties for schools in Colorado. Tanterra will cover approximately 1,200 acres, including 286 acres of open space and 50 acres of neighborhood parks once they are fully built out. Now, Parker in and of itself sits on the southeast edge of the Denver metro area, which is great for traffic because you're not having to fight through a city to get to work. You're more or less kind of moving with traffic or sometimes against it, depending on where you're headed. But the good thing is you're not having to fight through any cities, with Parker being located just on the outside edge. Now, let's talk about some commute times to some of the more popular places you might be going for your workday. So the commute from Parker to the Denver Tech Center runs approximately 20 to 25 minutes on a best case scenario. You're either going to be taking E470 or Parker Road. Now, in the Tech Center corridor, you have some places like Amazon, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Lockheed. You've even got some big medical campuses nearby. So that 20 to 25 minute drive should be amazing if you are going to be working in any of those spots. It's going to feel like you're maybe a little bit on the outside of town being Parker. Sometimes Parker is considered far out, but until you really live there, you realize just how quickly you can get to where you need to go based on really just the way that the highways and the roads are structured. Now, the drive to downtown Denver is going to take nearly 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic. Typically, you might be taking E470 up and around to the north side of Denver if you're having to work up there, or oftentimes it's easiest just to take I-25 straight north to Denver, or even Parker Road, which turns into Leedsdale, which will take you all the way down to Denver as well, right on Colorado Boulevard. So if you're working downtown, you have 3 different ways that you could get down there. You have a highway option, you have a toll road option, and you have just Parker Road. Either one might be a really good option for you, depending on where you're working and what traffic is looking like. Now, if you are needing to go to the airport on a regular basis, DIA is approximately 35 to 40 minutes from Parker if you take E470. E470 is located just north on Parker Road on the north side of Parker and will take you almost directly to the airport without having to go through Denver at all. For those of you guys that are frequent flyers, this is going to be a huge advantage, again, being in so close of proximity to E470. Now, E470 is a toll road. It's fast, it's very well maintained. There's almost never any traffic on it. Just budget into your monthly costs because it is definitely worth it. And if you are taking it on a regular basis, I would plan on budgeting anywhere from maybe $50 to $150 a month, depending on how often you take it. I take it all the time, and it is more than worth it to prevent me from sitting in traffic almost ever.
Okay, so now that you know where Tanterra sits, let's talk about exactly what Tanterra is.
Correct, so we're talking about the master plan community itself and the development around it.
That's right, that's right. So here in Parker, Tanterra has been the talk of the town for the past year. Previous to this development popping up here, it was just completely open land, nothing really going on. You were seeing a lot of the incoming road infrastructure. There's been tons of road developments around Parker recently. But the reason that this one has popped up is because of its location on the west side of Parker. This puts you so much closer to I-25. Now, out here, we are looking at about 1,200 acres, composing of 3,300 homes and a 30-acre community park, which is going to be the central landmark to the entire development.
Correct. Now, some of the practical sides as far as like locals and just why it's been the talk of town for so long, and it was also just a little bit of just unincorporated land that wasn't being maximized. Prior to this would be the backside of Parker, what I would consider like the south side of Parker. And you've got Motzenbacher as a thorough through, and you've got, what's that main two-lane road? And then you've got Crowfoot Valley that goes into the backside of Castle Rock. So in between the backside of Parker and the backside of Castle Rock are these amazing roads and beautiful views and a bunch of rolling hills that had absolutely nothing on it. They started building out a little bit with like as far as McCanta and some things out in Castle Rock, but there was still a lot of just unincorporated space. You've got Pradera along the way, which is an amazing golf community. We've covered that as well. If you guys have questions on it, we can throw that down below. But there was still just a lot of unincorporated land. And when you've got to commute all the way from Parker into Castle Rock, we've debated over this as far as like how long it takes. It was a lot. It was actually longer than I thought. I thought it was like 6 minutes.
Sure.
It was like 30 or 20 or something like that.
Yeah, from where?
From Parker to Castle Rock.
Yes. Yeah, 25.
It was 24, 25.
Yeah.
But the point is there was so much great rolling hills and great views that just hadn't really been incorporated or built upon. This is what we're talking about. This will be one of the best places you guys can live for sure, 2026, 2027 and beyond. And again, it's because of proximity of what you get view and landscape wise, what you're gonna get amenity wise from the master plan community, and the fact that you're resting right in between both Parker and Castle Rock. I know it's technically Parker, but it's the portion that's right in between main Parker and Castle Rock.
That's right. Now, I'm glad you brought up Pradera, because with Pradera is probably the last major development that we saw here in Parker that people were actually excited about. Right. Now, it is a golf community. It sits just south of where we are at right now by about 5 or 6 minutes, but no community in Parker has really been built with the master plan component that we're going to see here in Tanterra. So we will, in just a few minutes, go give you a highlight of what some of those amenities are going to be. But in essence, guys, what they're really doing here is they are trying to pull in the rolling hill natural landscape that they have out here versus just completely grading everything and having this flat development that has no characteristics. This community is going to be full of parks, not just the big one we're talking about, but all the little pocket parks, trails all throughout here, all accenting the natural Colorado scenery.
As well as uber good craftsmanship from
right.
the builder that we still haven't shown you guys yet, that we will be showing later on in this video. So definitely stay tuned for some of these two words as we get toward the back half of this video.
All right, now behind me here in this open space that they are currently developing, this is going to be the site of the 30-acre community park. This is going to be the main central landmark for the whole community, but they are going to have multiple parks in addition to this one. But this one is going to be the biggest and the best. So part of the park that they're going to have here, they're going to have multiple turf areas, multiple play areas, multi-level play areas. They're supposedly going to have some courts out here for maybe pickleball. You are going to have a couple of community pools. And as you can see, they're keeping, and this is what I love here about Colorado, they're keeping all the natural landscapes. You can see all the rolling hills and everything that are behind me. This will all be integrated into the community because you don't want to lose that Colorado feel once you're actually out here just living on maybe like a plain plat development. Now, in addition to these areas that you're going to have here for kiddos, they are going to have a clubhouse and fitness center and trails that go all throughout the community, including one out here that is a single track bike trails. I'm not sure how extreme the mountain biking is going to be, but you are going to have some dirt trails to ride your bike around. Guys, when we talk about this master plan community, this is exactly what makes it master plan, right? They are thinking about everything that you could possibly need within your community, so you don't even really have to leave except for groceries. Now, before we go and tour these homes, I want to remind you guys about our relocation guide that we've put together for you. This is going to show you all the hot spots that are around Denver and all the good to know information that you might need if you're relocating to the state. So if you scan the QR code up above or text guide to the phone number down below, we will get you guys that guide. And with that being said, let's go check out some homes.
All right, so here we go. You guys have been waiting for this just for a little while. I'm excited to show you. We're at Richmond American. Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with that builder, and you'd say, hey, Will, no idea they were the builder of the year. Well, Sekisui, the company that purchased Richmond American, an amazing Japanese company, has a lot of really cool stuff that's doing as far as the craftsmanship. They did win builder of the year. So a lot of great things that we're going to talk about once we get inside and toward the end of the video, but there you have it, builder of the year 2026. Now, over my right shoulder is just into your high to mid 800s as far as starting price points. We've got the Chesapeake to my left, which is just below that by about $25,000. We've got both of them available today. So we're gonna walk inside, show you guys some details, what we like about it, what we're curious about. There are a couple different things that I'm still on the fence about as far as like placement of some stuff. And that could be by design as far as like this new company, et cetera, right? But either way, some fun things to talk about. So why don't we go take a look? All right, now upon entry, immediately when you get inside, really nice foyer here. I like it. You guys know personally, I love having closets and just a greeting area when people first enter the home. It's a little bit decentralized from everything else that you guys are gonna see. And toward the front, you guys will see it part of the B-roll. We've also got a guest suite with a full standing shower and full bedroom here right in the front, which I think is also tasteful. A lot of people have folks that visit, so it's nice to have stairs downstairs, but this is what's really cool. Everything is opened up. You guys get a super modern feel when it comes to living space, kitchen space. I'm still undecided when it comes to dual doors versus like just having one grand door, but I'm sure structural wise, there's probably a reason. I think it can be tasteful sometimes when you get season change. So if you just wanna have some coffee outside in the morning for breakfast, or maybe you don't necessarily need to open the whole wall up, you can just have this one. Food for thought, but I gotta get this out of the way. I have an opinion on it. I would love to hear your guys' opinion of like why they would do this. We've got our double oven / our microwave and our oven here across the side of the kitchen. So over here, we've got our stove. We've got our fridge. We have all the counter space, and I just can't figure out why the oven would be over there. I've got little kids grabbing something hot, moving it across. I'm just not sure, but if there's a reason for that, I don't know about it. Eli doesn't know about it. I'd be curious. I do, however, appreciate this huge pantry that you have. And I do like that this is across and out of the way versus being really congested within the kitchen. So this is a nice taste. And one thing I want to show you before we get upstairs is this here. So this is your primary office for the main level. Now, here's an interesting fact if you guys want to bring it in a little bit. Right here, enjoy peaceful productivity. 25% of remote workers say noise negatively impacts their productivity. Located at the back of the home for focus and privacy, this space helps distractions be a minimum. So if you guys had your office toward the front, I guess there's some data that says whether it's people walking by, whether it's Amazon packages at the front of your house, you're more distracted. So by design, with intention, the builder put it right here toward the back so you guys can have a little bit more peace and quiet while you work.
All right, so as you guys come upstairs, the first thing we are going to see is one of my absolute favorite features in any home. And my current home does not have this. My next purchase, this is number one thing I'm looking for. This is a big open loft area. They may have these where you are coming from. This may be a new feature to you, but essentially these areas, let's call it like a second living room. In my house, this is where my boys would have all their toys, their gigantic trucks, their little teepee that we have set up. And this would be just essentially a place that's out of the way where they can come and kind of have their own space. They have it set up here as kind of a Netflix area, gaming zone, what have you. Come in here right behind me where we are going to come into the gigantic primary bedroom. So you guys can see when you're coming in here, we have a full king size bed. You have two large side tables and still plenty of room here. So just a ton of square footage. Again, one of my other favorite features that we'll see in any primary setup as we come in here into the bathroom, we are then going to have on either side his and her closets or dual closets. So no more fighting over closet space or rack space or anything like that. You guys can each have your own location here to get dressed and keep all your clothes. But then as we come in here to the luxury bathroom, and guys, I got to tell you, of all the Richmond homes we've been in, the difference that you can feel in this one is noticeable. You've got your his and her vanities. This one, I love that you have like the built-in literal vanity right here by the sink. And then you do have the large shower with, again, one of our other favorite features, these like dry zones right here. So here's just an area where you're not going on your main floor tile. You can stand here, dry off, get prepped to go into the shower, get ready to come out of the shower, and all the good things that you guys love for just normal day-to-day convenience.
All right, now moving along, this is our second one that we're gonna show. This is what they call the Teton. Now, we're outside to start because I absolutely love front porches. Not that I'm not a fan of backyards and things like that. I'm having a great time, but there's something about a nice front porch. People watching, hanging out, watching the sunset. Right across the street, you guys can have some amazing views as far as the rest of Parker and some of the mountains as well, which is really cool. But when we come inside the Teton, you guys will see a very similar as far as like this entryway that leads into a guest suite or whatever you guys would like to use for that, along with a standing shower. A lot of times guest suites, they go a little bit more cheap on it and they do tubs. Some people like that, some people don't, but definitely if you're gonna be using it for a guest suite, having that standing shower is gonna be most important. Now, this probably seems a little redundant when you see Richmond American do these or you see other models do these, but a lot of what's really cool about getting a new build is they just have a lot of analytics and a lot of data as far as what consumer behaviors are and what they're looking for. So having a room here toward the front of the house, demand, probably for this reason. Having a standing shower versus a tub nowadays, by demand, right? So having this from the start is really cool, really useful. As we walk in, you've got a little bit more of a bigger, I guess a more grand, I'd call this like a half foyer, right? Like you're already starting to kind of come into the home, but you do have a hallway tucked away with a bathroom and some great junk drawers right by the garage, which is also nice. But this is what you're here for, which is this right here. As you guys walk through, and I know we're talking about builder of the year, I'm telling you when you're walking through and you can feel these floors, something feels a little bit more stable about this home versus some of the other ones that we've walked through before where we're a little bit more concerned. The build quality on these homes are awesome. These super big islands, a lot of folks like these. We've seen double islands before. We've seen oversized main islands, but what I do love about this is you've got plenty of cabinet space down below. You've got organized seating. You do have the double stoves over here in the kitchen, not walking across the way. You've got your dishwasher here to the right of the sink. We all know why that's super important. Most people are right-handed, right on the dish. You've got your stove here. So personally, when we're talking about this home, I feel like the overall layout and the usability, the user friendliness to it, I feel like there's a better flow here. Now, you do have a smaller deck out back. However, you've got your glass L-shaped, which means you've got your dining room addition, and you can bring the outside in if that's what you guys are looking for. So again, we're actually right across from the other house we were looking at. You guys can see, if we're zooming in, you guys can see how long and spacious that deck is. This one's slightly shorter, but just as wide. You've got some great stairs that go downstairs. But again, this is kind of nice because you do have that dedicated dining room inside that's a little bit more big versus over here, it was just kind of like part of the kitchen and the shared space. And I will say, even though this one's slightly smaller as far as length, this is plenty big. You've got great 8-9 foot ceilings right here. You've got a great breeze that's coming through. Definitely plenty of space for at least 5, 8, 10 people to hang out comfortably, in addition to whoever you guys are entertaining inside.
Okay, so one of the first things I noticed when I was coming up this extra wide staircase was the hardwood, the engineered hardwood on the stairs themselves. Now, for whatever reason, a lot of builders out here in Colorado will not do hardwood on the stairs. They will only do carpet. But again, I think this is the new Sekisui way where they are okay doing it because it does give it a much more luxury feel. Now, you'll also see that engineered hardwood up here throughout the loft area. Directly behind me, you're gonna have 3 bedrooms that are completely on its own wing. So there really is a lot of separation between the kids or guests and mom and dad or parents that are right over here. So as we come in here into the primary suite, you're gonna see the same extra large room design that we saw in the previous floor plan. So again, just a ton of square footage for your bed, side tables, anything else you guys may want in here. And then as you come in here into the bedroom, or the bathroom rather, you are going to see a little bit of a different layout, but I really like this one because they incorporate the 2 closet design here. They're side by side here instead of across from each other, but you do have the separation between his and her closets. And then over here, you've got a little bit of a smaller shower, but you do have the standalone soaking tub, which is a great feature here. And as you guys can see, there are just so many little accent windows. Even this window here in between the 2 mirrors just brings so much good natural light into your bathroom. It really does feel like a luxury spa bathroom.
Now, something super cool that we haven't talked about yet, but this does come with both of the models that we're talking about, and that is finished basements. Builders got away from this for a little while, but now they're starting to do this, and it's coming with your finished house. probably the past 2 years, maybe even 3, they were not finishing basements. So this was something that you guys were gonna have to contract out separately. Not that you can't do that and find great prices. There's a lot of new builds that we do. One thing we've always advised doing with the builder, because it was just more cost effective, was if you can get a finished basement from your builder from the start and have it as a part of your overall loan, cost effective, it was just better as well. Some things, if you guys wanna do external with other independent contractors, you can find more affordable, but the big stuff like this, it's just better. Now, what we're looking at here is what we call garden level. We haven't shown this a ton. I'm not sure how great of footage we can get with like the sunlight coming in, but it's not a full walkout. You don't have any doors that exit down here, down below. But this is what we call garden level, which means the window level right here is gonna be pretty much even with the soil outside. Versus like your typical basements, you feel like you're way under and you'd actually have to look up and out the window well to see it because you're below ground. This, we're right at garden level, right? So if that makes sense, I'm kind of beating a dead horse on that, but you've got a great bar that's finished down here, which looks amazing. You've got a nice hallway with your unincorporated HVAC. You've got a standing shower, bathroom here, and you've got 2 bedrooms back here full of closets that are still nice. And even though we're getting toward the back of the house, as you guys can see, we're still maintaining garden level. The benefit of that is you're just gonna feel like you're not necessarily tucked away in a basement. Walkouts help a ton with that. Garden levels help a ton with that for sure. All right, now before we move forward and talk about all the other builders that are gonna be in this area, specifically let's talk about Sekisui, AKA American Homes, Richmond American Homes, and go over what makes them unique, what makes them so much different that got them that award in the first place, and then our opinions on the 2 different models that you guys see today.
That's right. So to give you guys an overall summary, Sekisui is a Japanese company that purchased Richmond American Homes in late 2024, but nothing was really made that public until 2025. Now, one of the things with Sekisui is their craftsmanship and their attention to detail. And that is the biggest change that we are now seeing at this particular Richmond community. And there are only 2 other Richmond communities here at Looking Glass and Parker, and then the Richmond out in Sterling Ranch, where they've adopted this new Sekisui way. And going forward now, the rest of the communities will, but these are the only 3 that you can find here in Colorado. What Sekisui brings to the table is this their extreme attention to detail and completely new set of standard operating procedures, down to the minute things of if you're leveling a wall or you're putting in your 2x4s, you cannot have offsets greater than even 1/8 of an inch.
Which is probably 4 times better easily than some others, right? When you guys are looking at margins of error as far as like things that are getting permitted by the city, et cetera, you will see patterns sometimes of just bowing walls. Or you'll see long walls that just like maybe the framework is straight, but the drywall that was later on it, if it wasn't actually tacked to the framework well enough, like it will start to bow, you'll see some imperfections. When you guys get down to that level of minute measurements and that thin of a margin of error, the build quality tends to be a lot better. I'm also just paying attention when we're out here on the back deck of one of these homes, and I'm looking at all the nails across the deck. There are 2 nails per piece of Trex, and they are all
perfectly aligned.
Perfectly aligned. It's just little things like that. And again, if they weren't perfectly aligned, is it still gonna like hold the same? Absolutely. But how are you gonna feel when you purchase a home and what it looks like when you come out and you walk through your home? Does the build quality just look and feel better? No different than if you guys are into cars. When you shut a car door, some of them sound a little flimsy. They kind of rattle, they sound a little flimsy. And then there's some car doors where when you shut that door, it's just boof, boof. And you're just like, man, like the build quality is just really good and the look of the car is great. It's no different than when you guys are looking at some of these. Now, we do have some great builders that are out here. It's not just Richmond American right now as far as some of their improvements. And specifically, we're talking to Richmond American improvements with Sekisui.
That's right.
This is all going to boil down to brand by brand. You got some great things about them. You have some floor plans, you have some different design concepts. But ultimately, when it comes down to building this level of home across the state, it's going to be your upper level leadership. It's going to be the management process and how well they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's in each phase of the build. Since we've been here, we've seen the corporate team twice already come through and manage different things about the project. So as far as like the ownership and the VPs and the supervision that's around this brand, I don't think I've seen this many VPs around something my entire career of seeing new builds versus just specifically talking about one. So definitely impressed. Definitely start seeing, I see the difference. I definitely see why they would rate an award like something like Builder of the Year.
That's right. So let's go ahead and dive into the rest of the builders that are going to be here. Talk all the different types of homes that you're going to be finding in all the different types of home prices.
Now, Tanterra has 3 different builders, and that's actually a little bit unusual. Not the most uncommon, but a little bit. So most new communities, a lot of them are going to bring in 1 builder, maybe 2. Now, having 3 means that you guys get all sorts of different product types and price points and different levels of entry into this community. So I'm going to go ahead and break down what each one is doing here. Now, Trumark was one of the first builders in the door at Tanterra. They just opened up probably less than a month ago, and their models are open daily right now. They're a West Coast builder. They've got 35 years of experience. They're not new by any means, but they're newer to Colorado, and they're bringing 3 different sub neighborhoods to their spot here in Tanterra. Now, I'll walk you through each one and give you a quick summary. So the first one is called the Kestrel. These are single family homes. They're going to range from 2,000 to 2,600 square feet, not including the basement. You're looking at 3 to 6 bedrooms, 2 to 3.5 baths, and 2 car garages. They are going to have some ranch and 2-story plans available. They do all include basements, and you can do an optional finished basement as well, which is super cool. And price range on these, again, these are starting prices, are going to range from $700 to $830. Now, the Starling neighborhood are going to be duplexes. These are going to be paired homes attached, right? So not multiple like townhomes, but 2 homes basically put together. These are going to be 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 2.5 baths, also 2 car garages, and each home on these has a basement as well. These paired homes are going to be starting from about $620,000. Starling is definitely the entry point if you're trying to get into new construction under $700,000 in Tanterra. On those paired homes, you're just sharing one wall with your neighbor, but you still have your own garage, your own basement, and you are inside this awesome master plan community. Now, for a lot of buyers, this is a really good entry-level position. And I've got to tell you, on some of these duplexes, it does not feel like you're in a duplex. It doesn't feel like you're in a tight home at all. It quite literally feels exactly like a single family home feels. You wouldn't know that you're in a paired home unless you're actually looking at it from the outside. Now, finally, their third collection is called the Osprey. Now, these are going to be anywhere from 2,100 square feet to 3,100 square feet. You can get up to 6 bedrooms, up to 5 baths, and on these, they do have 3 car garages. You've got both ranch and 2-story options in this neighborhood, and price ranges are going to go from $830s to $845 and up. These are going to be their bigger homes for either big families have guests staying with them a lot, or you just like a little bit more room to breathe. And these houses, the models they have in this collection, are pretty cool. Now, Trumark, of all the builders here, they're going to give you the most range and options from any other builders that we're going to talk about here. Again, we've got duplexes starting in the 600s all the way up to 840s, which those 840s is starting. So you could easily end up at 950 to probably just around $1 million if you wanted on those bigger products. Builder number 2, Richmond American. These are the homes that we featured today. Now, these guys just opened up about 2 weeks ago, so they don't have a ton built yet, but they do have these model homes. They are open for business, so if you want to come in and set up a tour with us to show you any of these, we definitely can. Now, they are also early in this new community phase, which is where you guys are going to have the best lot selection, which is one thing that I do like about Richmond is, they will have some quick move-in options for you. They also have options where you can choose a lot that you want, put the house that you want on that lot, and do your full design selection. Now, Richmond is going to have 1 ranch model and then some 2-story floor plans for you. You're looking at 3 to 5 bedrooms on average, with some of their floor plans going up to about 7 bedrooms. You're looking at approximately 2,300 square feet all the way up to 3,700 square feet. Now, their lowest end is going to start at 770, going up to about 830 for the starting price range. But again, a lot of these I could see ending up closer to that $1 million mark by the time you're done with your lot selection and all your design selections. Now, with Richmond, of all the builders here, you're getting the larger square footage, more bedrooms, and the full design studio experience where you get to go in and make all your selections on all your finishes, your counters, your flooring, your tile, your backsplash, all your structural options. Definitely not a cookie cutter process like you might see with a lot of other builders. So if you guys are looking for more of the high-end, top-notch homes in Tanterra, I think Richmond is definitely going to be the best bet for you. Or honestly, the Osprey collection with Trumark is going to be another really competitive option as well. Now, finally, we have Lennar. Now, Lennar was not open at the time when we filmed this. Their grand opening is set for May 16th, but I definitely want to make sure you guys know about them because their price point is definitely the most competitive of these 3 builders. What Lennar is doing is they are building townhomes. They're the only townhome builder in here. It's in the Parkside collection, and those are going to be from 1,100 to about 1,600 square feet. And you're looking at 2 to 3 bedrooms to 2 to 2.5 baths. But the cool part is that these are starting in the 400s. Now, this is definitely the most accessible price point in all of Tanterra. If the 7 to 800s, or in reality, 800 to $1 million, feel like a little bit of a stretch, but you really love Tanterra and you do want to own property inside of here, and you want access to all the cool amenities that they have, the pool, the trails, the parks, the courts, all that good stuff, and your price point's a little bit lower, this is going to be an excellent way for you guys to get into the community. Now, one unique thing about Lennar is that they have their everything's included program, which basically means all their designer finishes and upgrades come standard. You're not doing any of the design center options. Everything they're building is pretty much a quick move in. Now, what I do like about this, at least the way Lennar does it, is that you do get really good options out of the gate, right? So don't think that just because you're not going to the design center that you're going to have just a very plain home. They're just making all the design selections for you, and you don't have to worry about all of these add-ons. So it more so is like the price that you see is the price that you get, which is really nice. And it does save you guys from having to go to a lot of design center appointments and just a lot of the typical builder appointments that you might see on dirt up construction. So there you have it, guys. We've got our 3 builders. We have a huge range of home products and price points. So regardless of where you're shopping, you can definitely find something that would work for you within this community. Now, with that being said, if you guys would like to tour into these homes, or if you'd like more information on this community, definitely call the phone number popping up on the screen below or shoot us a text message. We are the guys that answer the phone calls, text messages, and emails. We'd love to help you however we can, assisting with your move to Tanterra or anywhere else in Colorado. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.